Hello, I'm FX Toycat, and welcome back to the Minecraft update news video. Today I have some incredible news to share with you all because Minecraft 1.18 pre-release 1 is now out. This tells us a lot of things about what is going on with the 1.18 update, namely of course when the 1.18 update is coming out. But before we can get into that, I think it's important to dive into exactly what's been added in this pre-release because it is very specifically only one feature, and also wanted to talk about what is going on with this pre-release, why they're doing it so early, and why they're only doing it for the Java edition of Minecraft, despite the fact that 1.18, the Caves and Cliffs Part 2 update, will release for both Bedrock and Java at the same time. So subscribe if you're new around here and you want to see more of these Minecraft news videos. Welcome to Minecraft 1.18 pre-release 1. This is very different to a snapshot because unlike the snapshots, which are just showing off what Minecraft developers have done over the past week as far as adding new features to the game, a pre-release is pretty close to set in stone as far as features that are being added to the game. Between now and the release of 1.18, don't expect to see any brand new features. Instead, expect them to, work on the bugs, some of which are important, some of which are less important, but expect them to focus on making the game more stable and more bug-free. However, in the pre-release, they've done something kind of unique, and they have added a brand new feature, and that is if you go to the new world options, you can finally see again that the amplified option has been added back to the game. This is really exciting because they removed amplified when they made the new world gen, and it looked like they weren't going to be doing it until just last Saturday, and oh, what's that? Have things changed? Let's show you a brand new amplified world. And just a warning, as you can see from the little new world option right here, it does require a beefy computer, so, any vegans in the audience, make sure to watch out for that. So jokes aside, let's load up an amplified world, and let's see exactly what it looks like with the brand new terrain. So honestly, my first impression upon loading up is like, oh, this doesn't look very amplified, and then if you look any other direction, you can see, oh no, this does look amplified. So obviously, as mentioned, it requires a beefy commuter. What they actually mean by that is more terrain generation requires more resources. So if you use the exact same settings as before, you're going to get some choppy gameplay. However, I do have to say, it does look very good. I think that my first impression is that, it is incredible, don't get me wrong. I love that it's going to probably be using all of the new world height, although I'll quickly confirm that right now, because in this update, the maximum height your world can go to is going from 256 to 312 blocks, and so as we can see, oh, this is only 241. This is below the old height limit. Okay, as we can see, if we go to the top of here, we're at 290 blocks, and yeah, it's actually kind of rare to find the amplified even going to the newest peak of the height, but the fact that it can happen whatsoever is incredibly cool. And if you want to have a much more challenging terrain that's also just stunning to look at from afar, then this is how you do that. It is worth mentioning this amplified will be unique to Java as best we can tell right now, because this is, what is this pre-release? This pre-release is effectively Minecraft going, we're not going to add any new features to the game, we're going to make sure we can get this update out, and in this case, they've got a very, very big deadline, which is Christmas. The Mojang staff take a few weeks off over Christmas, and realistically that means that the week before Christmas isn't going to be a big working week, and they need to be ready to bug fix anyway, and so that means that they've got a very big deadline if they need this update out there now, or very big things happen, both financial consequence wise and also just, community consequence wise. They already split the update in two, they already cut a lot of features out for the second update, they kind of need to get the timing of this second update right, because otherwise the failure of those other points becomes especially pronounced. Again, you can mess up one thing, but if you mess up everything, then have you done anything is maybe a question. So anyway, this is a pre-release. I'm going to fly around and look at some amplified terrain while we answer the next logical questions that you're going to have right here, like obviously when's the update going, but also when can you expect to see the equivalent on Bedrock. And like I mentioned before, this is just a Java process, and the answer as to why that is because Minecraft Bedrock doesn't have the same ease of release process that Java does. Even when Minecraft Bedrock is making betas, they're usually not doing major feature betas every week. That it's every couple of weeks or so, because to add features to the betas on Bedrock is not only going to be for just some platforms, but also it takes way longer because the certification processes between the Android store, the Windows store, and the Xbox store, it is tricky to release brand new updates on those platforms, and so simply put, they try not to do it. And so 1.18 has been roughly ready for Minecraft Bedrock for the last few weeks now. They're working working on 1.19 snapshots with bundles and the goat horn and the warden and whatnot, and so the 1.18 update is being worked on behind closed doors, while we see in the meantime that the 1.18 update is being pre-released on the Java edition of the game. This means that although there is some time, a minimum of a week and a half or so between now and when this update can possibly release, it is worth mentioning that in that time, no exciting new features. Every now and then we do see, in previous updates, they've added something exciting, but the general rule of thumb, and a lot of studios follow this, is while you're working on the final bug fix before release, no new features. Because if you add a new feature, it is very fun, it is very quirky, etc. But not only is that time you could have spent working on bug fixing the update and not potentially, ruining someone's world or not potentially causing huge issues, but also that new feature that you add has to be bug tested. In fact, adding Amplified to the world right now is something that is likely to require some fixes in the coming weeks, indeed the coming pre-releases, because this is pre-release 1. There is likely to be more than one pre-release. I wouldn't say there's going to be a huge number because, it is a huge update in some ways, but also it's not the biggest addition of content we've ever seen, so expect to see more pre-releases on the way to the update release date. But let's talk about that now. I feel like we've teased you enough of that. When is 1.18 going to be coming out for you and I, the Minecraft players who play on either Java or Bedrock Edition? Again, if you play ooh, look at that ruined portal. If you play any other version of Minecraft, then sorry to tell you, 1.18 is not coming out too soon. But if you play anything that says Minecraft in the logo by itself, or you play Minecraft which says Java Edition and looks like this, then the update is coming out soon. And when is soon? Allow me to explain. So, pre-release 1 came out on the 11th of the 11th of 2021. I love days which are the same as the month because they're the one time of year where Americans can finally understand the rest of the world when we talk in real dates. Anyway, so it came out on the 11th of the 11th, and this means that the soonest possible release date, if for some reason there is basically no bugs to be fixed in the upcoming pre-releases, is the 23rd of November 2021. The reason we can be so sure of that is because they've never turned around a pre-release in a week or less, let alone in 4 days. They probably don't have the PR assets ready even to release it right next Tuesday. I wouldn't guess so, at least. However, the 23rd is the earliest we can see, and that is if they go through all of the bugs as fast as possible. And the reason I'm saying the earliest we can see it is because unlike a lot of other things where there's a fixed release date way ahead of time that they're perfectly trying to match, when Minecraft releases updates, they give a very vague season and then they work within that season, and this allows them to potentially get it out any earlier if they need to, and more realistically, it means they have time to delay if they potentially make some mistakes in there. And this means that although the 23rd is possible, and given that this is a small scale update, I would say not entirely incomprehensible, I would say what is much more likely is the 30th of November, or I would even say going into the December time, December the 7th. Why are all 3 of those days Tuesdays? It's because Minecraft updates tend to release on Tuesdays. It is very rare that they'll pick another day to release, and unless we go super late, deep into December, I imagine we will see either the 23rd, the 30th, or the 7th as a release date for Minecraft on Bedrock and Java. Again, a reminder, this all is based on how many bugs are found in the first pre-release. Sometimes there's so many bugs that they have to spend weeks and weeks fixing. Sometimes they put it out there and everyone's like, yeah, this seems like a finished version of the update. And if it is a perfectly finished version of the update and no major or important bugs are found that they decide to spend time working on, then they can immediately start getting that update ready to certify on the Bedrock platforms. They can start working on all the PR assets to promote the brand new update. You know those annoying trailers you get all across the internet when Minecraft releases an update? I get them all the time and it feels like a waste of Minecraft's money. Like, don't worry, I'm very much playing the update. I'm literally doing it in this video. You don't need to advertise to me, is what I would tell the advertisers, but clearly they're not going to listen. Anyway, so those adverts are going to start dropping around, and we're going to start seeing the Caves and Cliffs Part 2 update releasing in 1 of 3 days in the upcoming month. It is very exciting to be here, to finally have the height increase, the depth increase, and all of the other changes, which I can definitely list and are very exciting in this video. But yeah, I hope you'll enjoy this one where we went over it very briefly. I just wanted to talk about the big thing on everyone's mind because the pre-release is something, it's great, but a lot of people forget about the big questions the community actually has to ask when a pre-release comes out, and the biggest one is always, so when's the actual update that I can download on my real Minecraft device that isn't playing snapshots? And the answer is somewhere between 12 days and 26 days, and potentially somewhere in the middle of there. But I hope you'll enjoy this video regardless. Sorry for getting it out so late. I would love to give you a good excuse, but instead I'll just do the lazy thing and be like, oh, you know how it is, how hard it is for me to move my mouse hand, given that my elbow is still fractured or whatever. But no, more seriously, I hope you all enjoyed this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.